Hey guys, welcome back. If you're here, that means you just finished watching my part 1 of my makeup tutorial. Welcome to part 2 of me styling my wig and how I ended up heading out for the day. Now, this wig here was a bit complicated. I must say I was not a fan the first time I wore it. When I wore it, it was once and I didn't like the opening that it had on how shall I say, my forehead. Um, Now, certain wigs I am very picky about because I'm not quite sure how I will look in it until I actually put it on. Now, this wig I kind of had to fill out again for a second time to see how I might decide I want to style it. Pretty much just kind of filling myself out just like how I would with any other wig. All right, so with this wig here, it did not come with any baby hairs. Just like a lot of my wigs, I will have to apply my own baby hairs. What I do like about this wig is the fact that it does comes with clips. A lot of the times I don't want to spray my hair down. I prefer to have the clips, which makes it a lot easier. So this one did come with clips. What I'm doing is actually just putting a bit of spray, which you'll see on both sides of the hair, nowhere else, because I don't have to. It has clips, but this is just to give it an extra hold on the side for the look that I'm going. Now, as you can see, I'm pretty much just trimming off the hairs. I like mine to be real short. You definitely want to make sure that you're getting small pieces to do your baby hair. You definitely don't want to do too much. Remember, you can always apply more hair, so don't worry about if when you first cut it it doesn't seem like it's enough, because you can always apply some more to it. Now, I try to make it to look as natural as possible when it comes to the baby hairs. I try to spray a good amount to where it stays. I like to dry mine as I go, but not dry it all the way until I know for sure that the baby hairs are laying how I want it to. When you dry it a little bit, it gives you some leverage still to where you can still kind of like brush through it and shape up the baby hair, versus when you dry it all the way out and then you're not able to do that anymore. Please, please, please make sure that your hair is intact the way you want it to before you start doing the baby hairs, because that does make things a little bit harder if it's not. As you can see, I'm applying a little bit more after I, dried it out. Sometimes I like to add a piece of hair before cutting it out because I want to make sure that that piece is laying where I want it to lay, and then I'll pretty much cut it. Not all the time it's required for you to cut the hair in order to give the baby hair look. As you can see, I'm laying it all on one side. Once I know that that's how I want it to lay, I make sure that it's completely aired out before I start doing anything to the other side. What I'm going to do on this part of the hair is pretty much kind of like the same thing that I did with the other side. I'm going to apply some baby hairs as well and do the same technique that I did before. I definitely recommend using clips. In my case, my clips were at a different spot than I was, and going to get them for me was not an option that I wanted for myself. So it was a bit more difficult than it normally would be. So I definitely recommend get yourself some clips. Now, once you've gotten some clips and you go in there, it makes it a lot more easier for you to keep the hair in place while you do your baby hairs. Now, I did decide that the look that I wanted to go for was more of a half down, half up look. That's like one of my favorite all-time looks. You'll definitely see that a lot. I'm doing like I told you before, pretty much spraying down the other side to make sure it's intact, but only just those two sides because this wig does have clips and there's no need for it. Now, as you can see, I'm making some more hairs. That way I'm able to do my baby hairs. You always want to make sure you have a good amount out before you start cutting. And then you do the same thing that you did to your other side. What I did here was pretty much just take a piece of hair from the back of the head and I wrapped it around to give me a higher ponytail in the front, because that's the look that I was going for. After I was done with that, I went back to working on my baby hairs and I applied more of the Gots to Be spray. I don't remember if I mentioned that in the first beginning of the video, but I definitely use Got2b spray a lot, which you will definitely see in my other videos, because it's very easy to apply and very easy to remove without having to worry about losing your edges, especially since I have, you know, a skin condition with my forehead where I constantly have issues with my edges, you know, growing and going. So I love that spray. I definitely do. Now I'm pretty much positioning the baby hair in the direction that I want, and it was not cooperating. I must admit, it was not cooperating. Once you do have it where you want it, go ahead and put your finger down while you're spraying it, because you definitely don't want it to lift. With it being synthetic fiber hair, it does not lay automatically like human hair, so you will have to hold it down until it's dried enough to stay on its own. And I pretty much just keep spraying down until I feel that everything around the front of the head is secured, and drying it till there's nothing sticking up or anything that I feel may come undone. Now, the best part about the edges, especially with me having this condition, I know how to make something look like it's there that's not there, because that's always been a problem for me, especially when my edges would go away. It would be very frustrating to have to wait for them to come back, but when they were back, they were fully back. And again, I had to find a lot of other ways to be able to rock certain styles. Now, what I did with my hair at the top was I went ahead and I sprayed some of that Got2b spray back there. I wanted to be able to give it like a high volume to that ponytail. By me doing this, it gives it more of a volume look where it's standing up. And I like for the top of my ponytails to look a certain way. It kind of gives you like a fan kind of look. Now this here is just your regular old makeup eyeliner. What I like to do whenever they run dry or they seem very, very like fade-ish, as if like the color's fading away, I like to put them away and use that as one of my edges appliers. One of the things I used to apply my edges, and it works very perfectly fine. It makes it look so natural. Because of where it's all dried out, it makes it very easier to apply and make it look natural. And all I simply do is add some of that Got2b spray to it, not only to keep it intact, but to also make it look more natural by blending it in. Now, if we're gonna be honest, this isn't how thick as I imagine my my edges to be, but you know, sometimes you have to work with what you have, especially when the wig does not come with any kind of baby hairs or anything, and you don't want that super sharp look at the top, as if you just went to a barber with these wigs, and you want it to look like it's natural. So you do what you have to do at the top. You kind of go over it to make sure that you covered everything that you could. Make sure that it looks as natural as can be. And once it has that natural look to it, you just go ahead and put a little bit more spray. That way it can stay, and you don't have to worry about your baby hairs moving or the color running away or fading out till the end of the day or whenever you wash it out, to be honest. Finding out that I could recycle my eyeliner pencils and my eyeliner brushes, my eyeliner liquids, pens, oh my gosh, has been the best thing ever, because normally I hate whenever I have to throw something away, especially after I had it for so long. As you can see, I'm just outlining the top of the wig where the mesh normally would be. You want to kind of go through it with the brush to make sure that you color that brown mesh into black so it blends more with the hair. In case you have someone who wants to stand up close and personal and kind of overstepping their boundaries, you definitely don't want them to see where that lace is. So I definitely recommend that you use that. So that was just my quick tutorial of how I decided to style that wig. I hope you guys like. I definitely loved it. Definitely thought it was cute, short, and quick. Stay tuned for more videos. I can't wait for my arrival of my new wigs to come and to make you guys some more tutorials. Stay tuned.